In recent years, we've seen some horrific examples of police killings, of videos of individuals being killed by police officers, often with little or no justification. What about the law? What is the actual rule? When can police use deadly force? Today we'll discuss. Hello and welcome to Talks on Law. I'm Joel Cohen. Explaining today, we have Professor Rachel Harmon of UVA Law School. Maybe let's start with the test. When can police officers use deadly force?
Police officers can generally use deadly force in two circumstances. The most common is when they feel they are threatened with a use of force or a threat of force that would cause serious bodily harm or death. It could be that they're threatened. It could be that another person is threatened. And the other is when someone's fleeing a dangerous crime, when someone is engaged in a crime of violence and are fleeing, and the only way to subdue them is to use deadly force against them.
You can shoot someone for running away from a crime? Police
officers don't always use force in the circumstances. And not every state permits the full range of force allowed under the Supreme Court case law. But under a case, Tennessee versus Garner, the court said you cannot shoot a non-dangerous fleeing felon in the back of the head, but you can shoot a dangerous fleeing felon in the back of the head. And what makes somebody dangerous in the court's view is the circumstance in which the person is threatening or using serious force against an officer or another person, and therefore is actively dangerous in the moment. But the Supreme Court suggests that there's another form of dangerousness, which is being suspected of a violent crime. And according to the Supreme Court's case law, you could shoot that person as they run away.
If you're chasing down a suspect who's accused of a terrible crime, let's say a violent rape, but has never seen his day in court, it may in fact be the wrong person. In an arrest, if that person flees, a police officer is constitutionally justified to use deadly force against the fleeing suspect?
It would appear so under Tennessee versus Garner. Police departments cringe, police officers and communities cringe in the same way that you're cringing. If you think about, one of the big checks on the use of force, community sentiment matters too. Police departments face the court of public opinion probably more often than they face federal courts bringing constitutional cases. And so those kinds of uses of force are certainly conflict with many people's gut reaction about when we should be using force. And as a result, you see usually when officers use deadly force, the claim is that they believed that they or someone else was threatened. And usually it's that the officer himself faced a threat of serious bodily harm or death.
Let me also get on the record. We're going to be talking about police abuse, and we're going to be talking about failures in policing and the system that's in place to hold bad policing accountable. That's in no way to suggest that all police officers are bad, or that police as a group don't do so many important and critical things to keep us safe. So I just want to get that on the record. But we will be asking tough questions, and I know that you have done some real tough thinking on it from both the academic side and when you would spend your days in justice actually pursuing crimes.
One thing I would say about that is, despite the fact that I spent many years as a prosecutor, including on policing cases, I actually think that criminal prosecution is not the best way. It's sometimes important because there's a respect that criminal prosecution shows for the victims as equal citizens that I think it can be critical. But I don't think prosecution is the best way to handle most problems in policing. And I think focusing on the individual wrongdoer or the individual actor in policing is often a mistake. Policing is about systems. It's about the choices we make in terms of authorizing a behavior, but it's also the choices we make in structuring police departments, in tasking them with certain activities. And the problems we get are usually a result of institutions, not a result of bad people.